so that I can sync everything. 1, 2, 3, and here we go.
I just thought about how messed up it'll be if we start just clapping right now.
Forever.
We start doing like how they did on like Pee Wee's Playhouse. Yeah. We say like the word of the day.
What is the word? The word of the day is face selfie light. Ring of sun.
Actually, I swear this actually like reminds me of what's the name of that movie, Arrival or something like that?
2001: A Space Odyssey.
I can see that too.
It's Hal. The guy, the computer robot. I don't know.
Yes,
Anyways.
yes, Jill.
I can't
How
do
are
that.
I want to help you, Jill. Oh, shit, what's good with you though, yo?
Yeah, I know. Wait, what?
I say, what's good with you?
Oh. I'm good. How are you? How's your scotch?
Let me see.
What kind of scotch is it?
I heard them say something about from the island. I'm not sure.
Johnny
Which one is
Walker
it?
Red.
No.
Doers. Teachers.
Maybe. It might be.
Glenfiddich.
No, it's not Glenfiddich. I don't think. Which one is it?
The Space Odyssey, the computer name?
No, the Scotch.
Oh, hold on, I got a picture of it. It's so good. It's called
Langefreg. Lofreg.
Lafroig.
It's not Lafroig though.
Yeah, that's the one he gave me. Oh, delicious.
Mm.
It says 10
He
years.
gave me something else.
Oh, well.
I demand something.
I demand more. That's it.
Yeah.
No, definitely. But yo, but you were talking about y'all were doing the thing over at doing something over at Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was that for y'all?
It was fun. Everyone there was so nice. We were like, me and Julia, when we get excited, we start to turn into children, and they handled it quite well. Like, we were doing like, we always do these like Borat accents to each other, and the people they were handling it really well. That we were still trying to be professional, and it turned out really nice, and everyone was lovely. I was like becoming an asshole by the end of the day. I was like, excuse me, the talent is talking. And they had like a fan on us. And I was being such an asshole by the end, but it was fun. I loved it. I was like, I'm meant for the camera.
I mean, well, if it's like an automated fan, then I guess it doesn't count. Actually, it only counts if you have like people like manually fanning you.
Yes, with
Yeah.
palm fronds.
Exactly. So you're fine.
Yeah, that's what they had.
Yeah.
Kidding.
And like somebody peeling grapes.
It's the goal. That's the goal. That's what I would want on my rider if I was touring.
They had to go to university for it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
You need a master's degree in fanning me. Thanks.
Exactly.
How have your past episodes of this been? What have been some of the more enlightening conversations you've had?
Honestly,
You're like, none.
nobody. Everybody's horrible. No, honestly, it's in general just been very good. The weird thing about it is, I think with the format, I'm kind of adamant about not necessarily having a particular agenda, because actually when you end up doing that, then you get a chance to really get a feeling for who that person is. But the other part about it too is like when you do that, you're focusing on the person as a human being. And when you focus on the person as a human being, it kind of brings out this other thing that I learned a long time ago. Everybody has something to teach you.
Well, also, if you just let me keep talking, I'm just going to start interviewing you, which I guess is me as a person.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
Like how I just asked you. I was like, so tell me.
No, but see, this is the thing. I don't want it to be where I have to be the person that's supposed to dictate everything. I'm much more of trying to figure out how to curate interesting conversations.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be as directed and rigid all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there is going to be at some point where I ask you two standards, which is talking about how you came across doing Bear Radio. And the second one, what is a song that you liked when you were younger, but that you would be ashamed to admit that you like now? That you did like then, that you would be ashamed to admit now, but that was a spoiler. I didn't say anything about that.
I didn't hear anything. It's fine.
I forgot to say spoiler alert. Basically.
To me.
So, Jill.
Yes.
So, you are at Bear Radio.
Yes.
What would you like to tell us about Bear Radio? How did you all begin?
So I founded Bear Radio in 2017 because there wasn't a much like very good English language media in Berlin, and it pissed me off because I was like, well, I don't have anyone to listen to me. It wasn't just purely narcissistic. And so I had a lot of radio experience, so I started like aggregating all of the English language shows that were on in Berlin, like with everyone's permission on a website. And then we started teaching, and then we started producing our own in-house shows, and like 2.5 years later, we've taught a bunch of people, and we've taught at universities, and we're working with like corporates and helping them because we realize that a lot of people need help with podcasting.
Yeah.
And that like there's a lot of talent in the city, but there's not a lot of people that know how to podcast or do audio production. So we kind of try to be like the middleman who will like help storytellers tell their stories, or if like people are just audio producers and want someone to work with, then we pair them up.
Yeah. Which actually also I have to say thank you as well.
But this is like your project is amazing because this is like the reason that we want to do this is because there's so many people with cool ideas and cool shit to say. Aww. And there's usually no one listening to them. So we like try to help out a little bit and just like give people like that nudge that they need to get something off the ground.
And I feel the love. I really feel the love.
It's like when you called me the other day and there was a bird in my hallway.
Oh, how's Vinny?
Vinny, I think, escaped. I was like, I didn't see him leave, but if I start smelling like carcass from this poor bird that like fell into a plant, I'm gonna feel really bad. But I do think that he got out. But when you were explaining this whole thing, I was like against a wall trying to get a ladder out. I was like with a blanket trying to catch this. I was like, yeah, sounds good. I don't know what's happening, but we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's fine. If not, just a little banged up and scarred.
Yeah. Even though I have to admit that just by the fact of the bird's name being Vinny,
that was your idea.
I know.
You're like,
that's beside the point.
That was such a good idea. I don't know who thought of that. You're like, it was me.
Whoever it was, it had to be a genius.
Yeah. Devs.
Yeah, but that's beside the point because when his name was Vinny the Vogel, I automatically start thinking of Goodfeathers. That used to be on Animaniacs.
I thought you meant like the movie Goodfellas.
Well, it was so Goodfeathers was like this old parody of Goodfellas with the pigeons in New York.
Oh, so, I know what you're talking about. I saw a thing also that was like you were either a Disney kid or an Animaniacs kid growing up, and that was very telling. And I was like, Animaniacs for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. I totally remember what you're talking about now. And they all had the suits and they had the hats and they like smoked cigars and stuff, these little pigeons.
Yeah, there was like a Joe Pesci pigeon.
Yeah. Joe Pigeon.
Yeah. He was like always like losing his shit basically.
That was the bird in my hallway. It's terrifying.
It's like beep beep, Jill. How do you know my name?
I know. I was like, help. You help me. I can't help you if I can't help myself.
I should drink less. No, I shouldn't. Oh, but cool. But how has it been for you? Like, what's maybe one of your more memorable experiences with this Bear Radio project?
I think, one of the really cool things that happened early on in the beginning was that I was invited to go pitch at South by Southwest in Austin like 2 years ago. And it was super fun because I don't know how this happened that I got invited because it was like 10 people pitching from Berlin, and they were like the most promising startups out of Berlin. And there were all these like tall German dudes, and then me. And then they had like most of them were like, we work in data, we work in fintech. And then I'm like, I just want to tell stories. And the panel was super terrifying. Like one of the guys was from TechCrunch, like one of the guys was from like the South by Southwest board, and so they put me last because they were like, bless her. And then so these guys were like getting torn apart by these judges. They were like, one of them literally at one point was like, I think your idea is stupid. And the guy was like, and then I went up and I was like, Bear Radio is the podcast network and we just want to help people. And they were like, go you. And then that was it. And then I got like a free ticket and flight to South by Southwest. And then I just went and saw a bunch of bands all the time. I saw Pussy Riot and like RZA from Wu-Tang Clan in the same stage.
Oh yeah?
And he poured vodka in my mouth. It was amazing.
Pixar didn't happen.
I have video. I'll send it to you for the readers. But yeah, it was like amazing, and I've been trying to get back. I actually planned this year, plot twist, Corona.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it. But that was a really big highlight. And since then, I think the highlight is really dorky, but it's been like seeing people do shit. That's cool. And I'm like, oh, go you.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's like you don't have to call it dorky. Well,
that's all I want. It's for people to be happy.
Dorky's not bad.
Oh, and the other highlight is we've been getting a bunch of really cool equipment sponsored because we're like, look, we teach people how to do this. Like, we need help. And these companies have been so cool and given us so much shit.
What was it, like Rode and who else?
Rode, Zoom, Sound Services, who does like all of Zoom's importing here. Shure was amazing. Who else?
So is this
Sennheiser.
Since we're doing like video, should you say Zoom?
Zoom. Yes, please. It's been like really cool. So I have all this equipment in my room, and we've been lending it out to people and teaching with it. And I'm like doing these unboxing videos, and I'm like, how did I get this much shit? But I guess it's if you like. We are using it to help people. It's not like I'm hoarding all of this stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's something magical about like new equipment.
Like we've been it's so nice, and I've been like showing people how to use it and stuff, and then now we get to like dork out and send like all of these people photos of our people using this equipment, and they're like amazing, and I'm like, isn't it? So I think it's everyone's happy.
No, that's dope actually though.
Yeah, it's really because in the beginning, like 3 years ago, I was like, I don't have anything. I started out with like one of these. I started out with two of these. Thank you. Of course. I started out with two of these. And now it's like we have all these mixers and stuff, and it's amazing. So, yeah.
No, so that's definitely like a sort of a bit of a step up.
Yeah, and it's like...
So it's almost like didn't y'all receive a lot of this like in the beginning of like the lockdowns and stuff too?
Yeah, so it was amazing.
Yeah, so you have a chance to like really have this. It's almost like Christmas basically.
Yes, like we kept having these unboxing videos, and like so Julia, my business partner, and I started a podcast called the Corona Diaries like very, very early on in the pandemic. And it was perfect because we couldn't see anyone, so we were having people call in, and like with the Roadcaster, I sound like an ad, but you could just have people call in, and like it's perfect. It was so easy to use, and normally like with this you have to use like an iRig and all of this shit. It's crazy. Yeah. So it's made life a lot easier, and it's made us sound a lot better, which we needed.
Yeah. So actually, how was that time for you in general, like personally?
For Corona?
Yeah, just like during like the lockdown. Even though I'm pretty sure you're probably tired of talking about it, but right now you're talking about it on a mic. So.
True. I think for me, I was like, look, I'm probably in the best situation ever for coronavirus because like I was already unemployed. I had been on unemployment since December because the company I worked for like prior, it hadn't worked out. And so I had already been on unemployment. I really liked my roommates. Like we all cooked together, we hung out. I live by the nature, so I could go out on walks and stuff, and like never felt cooped up. And like I work from home essentially when I work.
And you still have RZA around the corner.
RZA's there with vodka, so like.
Oh, they have vodka over there now?
It's wild. And so I was just like, this is lovely. I was supposed to go home at the end of May.
Yeah.
But lol. my flight got canceled.
Yeah.
And now my mom's like, well, I really want you to come back. I'm like, there's 120,000 dead people in America. I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
No.
That's the thing. Like right now is like not the time. Like so not the time.
I want you to die with me.
Yeah. It used to be like, I don't want to bring this to you on an international plane. And now it's like, I'm going to stay away from there because I don't want to get it.
Yeah.
Like, for real, it's crazy. And I'm like, Mom, you don't want this to be my last visit because I killed you and Grandma. And it's going to be very awkward if that happens.
Yeah, so awkward. So awkward.
She kind of gets it now.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like right now is a time where I'm kind of feeling like I'm not sure when is the next time I could visit the U.S. Like I really wanted to try and go like later this year. I'm thinking maybe around Thanksgiving or so.
During the second wave.
Yeah, like hopefully on the decline of the second wave somehow, at least. But just now is not the time. It's just like no.
Yeah. Like no, I'm good.
Yeah, and then also I'm from Georgia, and most of my nuclear family, well, actually all of my nuclear family, is in like Georgia, where Kemp actually like let everything up, lifted the restrictions like mad early. So
yeah, and they're having now this huge surge of corona like in southern states.
Yep.
So bye.
Yeah.
It's nice knowing you.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it's the thing is it's not necessary travel. It's not like anyone really needs us there. No offense to you and me, but like it's not like we're diplomats or anything. Okay, people must like you a lot, but like
thank you for acknowledging. Thank you for acknowledging that. And you know something that's one thing that's really crazy about actually being here is that the minute that you talk about burritos, people automatically assume that you're American. But at the same time, one of the first things I thought about was burritos.
You're like, I must go back. What do you mean unnecessary travel?
It's a burrito.
I need my fix.
Yeah. Do you know how many nutrients are in a burrito?
There's 4,000 calories in a burrito, but you could just eat one burrito. It would have you like settled for 2 months if you visited the States because you would get stuck. So
yeah.
My flatmate got stuck for 2 months in the States with her parents.
Oh, when?
Like she got back, she left on like March 4th and got back in May.
Oh, okay.
She was supposed to come back in late March. She was just like, get me out of here. And I was like, not my problem.
Yeah.
Bye.
Being stuck with parents during something like that.
Oh God, no.
I know, but they talk about like people being stuck, being in the same place as far as being in a relationship.
No.
But I think maybe with parents, that's another level.
Yeah, like I was like, Mom.
I love you, Mama. I love you, Dad.
I know.
Yeah,
I love
y'all.
my parents.
Love you.
I love my mother, but if I went home, I would have to literally quarantine in my childhood bedroom with posters of like the Eiffel Tower and Marilyn Monroe and Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. And it's fuchsia for 2 weeks and not leave my bedroom. No, I'm good. She's like, I don't understand why you don't want to do that. I'm like, several reasons.
I have to admit that one of mine was going to bed around like 8. Yeah, like I would just go to bed around 8.
Just take Benadryl.
I lay down
24/7.
But at the same time, on the other side of it is that's when I developed my creative work ethic. That's when I started writing a lot more. I started to read a lot more.
Because you're rested.
Make music a lot more. Well, the thing was because it's honestly hard for me to go to bed at like a civilized hour. And so what ends up happening is that if I'm pretending or like trying to go to bed, not pretending, I'm trying to go to bed, and it's like 8, but then I know I'm not going to be able to sleep till like 3, but then I just got new equipment. So I'm sitting there like actually like just playing around with it. And then I have like these other ideas for like either drawing or writing. And so, yeah, so that's where I first created like my bulk of any sort of creative output when I was growing up.
Have you always been kind of an insomniac?
Yes.
I can literally sleep anytime, anywhere. It's wild. I'm like a sloth. but
Question for you. Are you a U.S. Army veteran because they have the same superpower?
No, I'm the opposite in terms of physical prowess and value as an army officer. I could just sleep anywhere. It's crazy.
I need to learn that. Can you teach me? Like, how do
Yeah,
you do that?
just get on the U-Bahn and have like 3 shots of whiskey, and then you'll be like, it's so nice. But so have you always been up like, because I like have to go to bed at like 11 or just like conk out at some point. I can't really stay up. Like my friends and I will go clubbing, but I once literally brought a thermos of coffee to the club because I was like, I can't be awake right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at staying out late. I can do it, but then I bitch about it for 2 months. Like I can't do, I sleep all the time. I can't.
You know, I don't have that, but I actually have. This is one of the kind of like funny things about actually being in Berlin. I do not go out
At all?
Like I like me doing this, coming here to like this venue. This is my social circle. Like
That's
for the
fine.
most part. No, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Like there was what was it, like not last year, but the year before last. I finally actually went out somewhere, and I was like, you know what? This is actually nice. This is actually not so bad. Maybe every once in a while it'll be okay. And I was like, hold on, this is the first time that I've actually been out this year. Do you want to know what month it was?
September.
December. True story. True story.
It's true. I'm like, why would I go? I've been to Berghain several times, but once we got on guest list and it was amazing. And so my friend and I took a nap, and then we took a nap till like 1 a.m, and we were like, we're not getting out of bed. And then we did. And then we got like a bottle of champagne, and then we went in and we were like sober at Berghain, and we were like, this is wild. This is more crazy than if you were on drugs at Berghain, because I was literally like, hi, can I please just have like a little, maybe like a gin and soda or something? And then everyone else like, ah, like screaming on ketamine at the bartender, and I'm like,
Yeah.
excuse me. And then you realize how gross it is in there when you're not on drugs.
Yeah, the thing is, I never understood the appeal of Berghain yet, to be honest. Like, it was like, when I first moved here, I tried to check out one friend that was actually like hosting an event there, and I was like, I'll try and check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I went. I got bored.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? Just to make myself stay a little bit longer, I'm going to have at least 2 whiskeys. That's like my...
Going crazy.
Yeah, that's my hourglass.
Yeah.
That's my time frame. In the middle, after like 5 minutes of like the first one, I was like, I'm not going to lie to myself. I am going to have 2 whiskeys. But like I threw both of them back. And I was like, out in like 15 minutes.
Because personally, I know everyone hates people for this, but I don't really like techno and electronic music.
Actually, yeah. I'm very picky about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the sort of Berlin techno, I am not huge on.
I'm like, this sounds like a ringtone, and it sounded like a ringtone for the past 6 hours, and I'm done. I can't do it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, and then
I literally can't even.
yeah. And this was one of the parts that was like really hard for me when I first moved. Was the techno was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't even go to a gas station without like hearing like techno.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, but the thing is I actually love like a lot of older Chicago house and like electro and like more like funk and even just the more soulful kind of electronic musics and things.
Yeah,
like
but they keep getting rid of these places that play this. Like,
Yeah.
they got rid of Rosie's. They bulldozed it. They got rid of Basie Club. I don't know what's going on with that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're next. Like, Schwutz plays this sometimes. Greismüller used to sometimes, not often.
So just
I don't know.
based on what you just said, you go out more than I do.
That's probably true.
No,
I
I'm just
mean, I've gone out 3 times. No, I'm kidding. But like there are it's crazy.
Pardon me.
Once actually, I think my friend when I was here at uni played here like 5 years ago at a party.
Thanks, Chav.
Thanks.
My pleasure.
Yeah, a long time ago. I think my friend, well, I don't really talk to her anymore because we went to uni and she's cooler than I am. But her name was Asiri, and I think she was from Peru. And she had friends that were DJing here. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. So I went and it was fun. Woo.
Yeah, no, this is like one of the places I actually like really loved, which is why I figured to, actually try and record this here.
Mm-hmm.
Because this actually feels like super comfortable and chill to actually like to just record and be here in this space.
Yeah.
Like I'm honestly like very close to just going and get a whiskey and then like laying down here and then just like passing out.
Planking on the floor. Well, when you normally do this and it's not the era of COVID, like, do you have speakers or is it really loud or is it?
It is. There's like a DJ booth on the other side, and so everybody's usually playing. I think there's a little bit of music that was coming in on this side, but this sort of like vision that I started to have for doing the Mixtape Menage. Well, this is also, of course, like another experiment. But what I started to think was I telling you about this idea of having like audience participation?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that, but then I was like, that'd be kind of like lame to have like kind of like chairs like set up. But then after just being here like this, and then one day somebody was just didn't know they weren't supposed to be sitting there, and then they were sitting there, and I was like, you know what? That's it.
You have a fan.
You do it where you have audience participation, but it's just like sitting in a regular bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that it's just mad chill.
That's fun though.
Yeah, so that was the plan that I wanted to do before COVID, basically. Yeah, so usually what happens is doing these and recording while waiting for people to show up. And then afterwards have the person play a couple of tracks that they might normally listen to.
Yeah.
And then maybe having like an extra DJ and maybe I'll like spin something as well. But just so that everybody can just chill, sit back.
Yeah.
And hopefully have a good time.
And it's not like the audience or people being in the bar is interfering with the sound at all or anything.
In the beginning, it kind of did, but later on, I don't know how I figured it out, but I figured out how to get it down to a minimal.
Oh, that's good. Cool.
Yeah, it was something like there's a particular like threshold, and then when it's over here and behind here, then it just doesn't go through. And so there might be like little bits and pieces, but it just ends up adding more atmosphere than commotion.
That's nice.
Yeah, so that part was cool, actually.
And then, do you know when you're going to be allowed to have people here?
I guess we'll have to wait that all the clubs can open, because we're facing exactly the same rules and laws that the clubs titled as a bar.
Right?
So I guess as long as the Berlin scene of Techno haven't opened yet, we have to wait. Hopefully coming soon.
True.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Make sure to let me know, though.
Oh, you'll be
But I think that there's only like 500 cases of COVID in Berlin or something. Like, I think I'm not like, the city messenger, but I do sometimes look at this and I'm like, I thought it would be a lot more considering we're a huge city.
Yeah, so at some point I adopted the feeling of the policy of not looking too tough into it. I mean, I still look at it and I look for like sharp increases. But as far as like specifics, I try not to become too engaged. I mean, like the things that kind of like pop out in my mind were like how they quarantined an entire block in Neukölln a couple of days ago.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and then so that's the kind of thing that I pay attention to. But in general, oh yeah, and also I did honestly even look like last night, and it seemed like it wasn't anything too crazy because they were talking about the numbers and everything's were going up and like having issues with like the burger amt and things like this. But yeah, just to keep myself from like obsessing over it too much, like I don't, because if I do that, then I'm gonna do it for the US too. And there was definitely, like, to be honest, there was a period where I was a little bit afraid for like my parents and like family in Georgia, honestly.
True.
And so there was like a good like week where I was just kind of like, shit.
Idiot.
Yeah.
But I think something that I learned from our show from a friend who was like telling us about anxiety was like, you can't control things that aren't where you are. So like if you're, because I go on Twitter 24/7 and I was getting really stressed out because I was like, oh my god, in Uruguay, or in, oh my god, in New Zealand, and I'm like, I don't live there, like it's fine. And even in the States, it's like you can't do anything, so best to just like get information from the people you care about, but don't like check it all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
You can only make action upon like something in your city.
See, this is the thing.